The story starts with a man named Henry, a quiet, straight-faced guy who works the night shift at a toll booth. His expression made it seem like life had lost all its color for him. One morning when he came home, his wife told him, "You don't love me anymore. I remember when you did. Things used to be so different." Their conversation was still going on when someone knocked hard at the door. Henry opened it to find his friend Eddie standing there, along with a man named Joe who looked in terrible shape and kept throwing up. Debbie, Henry's wife, was a nurse, so she brought Joe inside to help him. Eddie told Henry that his basketball team had a game that day, but Joe wouldn't be able to play in this condition. He asked Henry to take Joe's place. Henry tried to say no, but Eddie handed him a jersey and insisted. Henry asked where the game was, and Eddie said it was close by, just a 15-minute drive. Then Eddie told him to stop the car somewhere, saying, "I'll be right back, just grabbing some food. Keep the engine running, okay?" As Eddie walked off, two more of his friends appeared, wearing masks. Henry didn't know them. Suddenly, all three pulled out guns and rushed into a bank. Henry had no idea they were there to rob it, or that he was now their getaway driver in a stolen car Eddie had hot-wired. A few minutes later, they came running out, and chaos broke out. A guard noticed Henry wearing the same jersey as the robbers and assumed he was one of them. Henry was caught and arrested. The police questioned him over and over, but Henry didn't give up Eddie's name. The only person he knew from the group was Eddie, and he still called him a friend. The court sentenced Henry to 3 years for attempted bank robbery. Once inside prison, he met a man named Max, who started talking to him in a friendly way. One morning at breakfast, Max told Henry, "Everyone here once had dreams. Then something unexpected happened, and we ended up in this place. So what's your dream?" Henry simply said, "I don't have one." Max replied, "Not having a dream, that's the biggest crime. What's the point of living without one?" 6 months later, Debbie came to visit Henry in prison. She told him, "I need to tell you something important. I'm in love with someone else." Henry, with a big heart, told her it was okay, that he just wanted her to be happy. If she couldn't be happy with him, then it was better she was with someone else. The jail felt like home. All the prisoners started talking about the last time a parole officer asked Max, "If you get out, what will you do for us?" Max had replied, "I'll break into your house, kill your dog, set your house on fire, and cut out the tongues of every living thing inside." Later, someone asked Henry, "When's your review?" Henry answered, "Next month." A prisoner then said, "Everyone believes Henry is a gentleman." Henry replied, "I haven't committed any crime." Max told him, "You've spent time in jail, so no matter what you tell people outside, they'll still think you did something." Soon, Henry was released. The first thing he did was visit Debbie. But when Joe opened the door, Henry was shocked. Debbie was pregnant with his child. Seeing this, Henry began wondering what his life would be like now. Debbie showed Henry all his old things and asked, "What will you do next?" Henry didn't answer. Then Joe stepped in, offered Henry a business deal, and thanked him for not mentioning his name in court. Henry simply said, "I don't know anything," and quietly walked away. Later, Henry went to the same bank where it had all started. As he stood there, a car suddenly hit him, knocking him to the ground. The driver was a woman named Julie. She scolded Henry and then asked if he was okay. The bank guard arrived and offered to call an ambulance, but Henry refused. The guard helped him into a cafe where Julie had also followed. Henry told Julie, "I've seen you somewhere before." Julie replied, "Look carefully before you step on the road," and walked away. When Henry went to the bathroom, he noticed an old newspaper clipping from 1980 stuck on the wall. It was about a bank robbery done through an underground tunnel that ran from a theater behind the bank, passing right under the safe. After this, Henry went straight to visit Max in prison. "I've found my dream," Henry told him. "Robbing that bank, that's why I'm here. If I have to serve time, I'd rather do it for something bigger." Max didn't fully understand, so Henry asked, "Will you help me rob a bank?" Max said, "Do you even have a plan? Or are you just dreaming?" Henry replied, "Don't worry, I've got a top-class plan." Later, Henry went to the theater where Julie was rehearsing her play. Her director yelled at her, saying she couldn't do it. Frustrated, Julie stormed out to get coffee. On the way, she asked Henry if he was following her. Henry denied it, but still followed her into the cafe. While having coffee, Henry complimented her. Julie thanked him for not complaining about the accident. Meanwhile, Max had applied for parole. Henry had already told him how to behave in front of the officers. After the hearing, Max was released. When Henry came to pick him up, Max asked, "Where's your car?" Henry replied, "I don't have one," because he had actually walked there to get him. Max was furious. Who was this crazy man? He stepped out of the circle and said, "Hello, take me back. I don't want to leave." But when Henry explained his plan to Max, Max stared in surprise. "This is your plan?" "You know, the same thing. Happened 80 years ago when the bank was robbed. Do you even have guns or anything?" Henry shook his head. "I'm not here to hurt anyone, I just want to deliver it." Max scoffed. "Yes, Mother Teresa, that's nice. But after the last robbery, it's possible the bank moved the safe and it might now be inside that tunnel. You'd better find out." To confirm this, Henry went to the bank and met the assistant manager. As he entered, Max kept a sharp eye on everything. While chatting, Henry skillfully got the manager to confirm that the safe had never been moved since the bank was built. The manager didn't suspect a thing, but the guard kept watching them closely. After that, they went to the theater to check the tunnel. Julia was surprised to see Henry there again, this time with Max. Max explained, "When I was young, I spent a lot of time here. I brought Henry to show him the place. Mind if I look around inside?" Inside, Julia asked Max if he had ever performed there. Max instantly mentioned Shakespeare. He said he had many memories here and wanted to see every corner. He was given permission. While Max was being shown around by a theater worker, he discreetly examined the tunnel door. Meanwhile, Julia asked Henry what he did for a living. Henry admitted he had just been released from prison and wasn't doing anything yet. Shocked, Julia asked if he'd committed a murder. Henry replied it was a long story and promised to tell it another time. They agreed to have dinner that evening. Back at home, Max told Henry that one part of the tunnel led through the wall of the green room. They needed to get access to that green room, but Henry was focused on getting ready for his date with Julia. "How do I look?" he asked. Max smiled. "Like yourself? Perfect. Go enjoy your date. We'll plan later." During dinner, Julia confessed she wanted to become a famous actress, someone everyone knew by name. Henry decided to tell her the truth about his time in jail and his plan to rob the bank. She was shocked, but she had started to enjoy his company. Later, they went back to her place, and their closeness grew. The next morning, they both visited Max's house, but Max didn't seem happy to see Julia. Henry reassured him, "Don't worry, she'll work with us." Pulling Henry aside, Max scolded him for revealing the entire plan to her. Later, over dinner, Julia asked Max why he was in jail. Max told her he had killed many people. She was stunned. "Weren't you afraid of getting caught?" Max replied, "I like going to jail. It's my favorite place." One day, while going to the theater, Julia and Henry came up with an idea. Hold auditions there so they could spend more time inside. But Max had a different thought. Remove the current actor whose green room it was and give that role to Henry instead. Then we kept digging without any rush. No one would know a thing. At this, Henry said he didn't know much about acting. But Max told him, "Look at your face. You're a natural. No one could do it better. Besides, it's the lead role." After some time, the actual actor left the play, saying he got a role in a big movie. But in truth, Max had tricked him. When Julie found out, she got angry. "You ruined my career! Do you enjoy ruining lives?" Henry auditioned, got selected, and now their work would be even easier. But within a day, Henry realized this tunnel job was too much for just two people, so they decided to bring Joe in. After much convincing, Joe agreed, but when he saw the tunnel, he said, "Why bother with all this? Just point a gun and steal." Max replied, "That's for fools like you. We're not doing that." Slowly, the work moved forward. Alongside that, Henry took his role in the play very seriously. He no longer just wanted the money. He wanted to try something new in life. One night after finishing work, Henry was stopped by the bank guard, who arrested him. The policeman said, "Aren't you the one with those bank robbers? I've seen you many times behind the bank heading to the theater. Not this time. I won't let it happen." Henry told him to come along, then drove to a quiet spot. He asked, "What do you want?" Frank said, "Once a month, a truck visits our partner banks. All the money is collected in one place. At that time, the vault holds more than 100 crore rupees. Only a fool would betray the bank and try stealing at the wrong time. I'm your man inside. I can help with the alarm system." The next day at the theater, during Julie's crying scene, the director told her, "You've never been in love, right? Your heart's never been broken. That's your problem. Without that feeling, you'll never be a great actress." There was a 5-minute break. Julie went into the bathroom and started crying. Henry asked if she was okay. Julie burst into tears, saying, "Yes, I've never loved anyone. What should I do? But I still want to be an actress." Henry said, "You do love, you just don't realize it yet, and I'm sure you'll be a great actress." Later that night, Max and Henry were making plans for the robbery when a knock came at the door. Henry opened it and saw Joe and Eddie. Joe looked like he'd been caught, and Eddie told Henry, "Joe told me everything. Now I'm part of your plan." Max didn't like Eddie at all. He asked Henry, "Who's this specimen?" Eddie said, "I know everything now, so you have no choice." Max asked again, "Can someone tell me who this owl is?" But Eddie was already getting irritated. He started saying, "I'm in this plan and you're out, old man." Max told him straight to get out of there. But Eddie mocked Max again, calling him old. This time, Max got angry and started moving toward Eddie to hit him. Henry somehow stepped in and stopped it. The next day, Max and Henry went to the theater and realized the show would only last for a few more days. This upset both of them. Henry said, "I don't think we'll be able to go through with the robbery now." The truth was he had started to fall for Julie. If they went ahead with the robbery, they'd have to run far away, but now he didn't want to leave Julie. Max grabbed Henry and said, "You called me out of jail to help with this, and now you're backing out? I've spent most of my life in prison. Now that I'm out, I'm going to make something big happen." That night, Henry met Julie. He told her, "We have to rob a bank on the first day of the show. Then I'll leave this place and move to California. You should work in Hollywood. Will you meet me there?" But hearing this, Julie exploded in anger. She said, "If you were going to leave, why make me believe you loved me? You used me just to get into the theater. It's my fault I fell in love with a thief." The day of the show came quickly, and so did the bank heist. The director told the cast, "Today is your day. Go out there and make your mark." There were only 10 minutes left when the money truck arrived at the bank, just like the policeman had said. Henry kept acting in the play while slipping away whenever he could to help his team. Everything was going according to plan. First, using a special tool, they broke through the brick wall. Then, with a welding machine, they cut open the big safe. Max had already cut the alarm wires so it wouldn't go off. But suddenly, Eddie pulled a gun on Max and told him to leave quietly. He ordered Joe to load the money into the car quickly. Joe didn't like this at all and told Eddie, "Don't do this, man. It's not right." Just then, Henry arrived at the scene. Eddie tried to scare him too, aiming his gun at Max despite Max repeatedly telling him not to. Then Max snatched the gun from Eddie's hand and started beating him. During the struggle, a bullet went off, grazing Henry's leg. Meanwhile, back in the theater, Henry's scene was about to start. So, limping slightly, he quickly performed his part and exited. Upstairs, after thoroughly beating Eddie, Max tied up his hands and feet, gagged him, and left him there. A short while later, Henry, Max, and Joe loaded all the money and escaped. Suddenly, Henry told them to stop the car. Joe and Max were confused, not understanding why, but Henry insisted they go without him, saying, "I'll catch up later." When Joe asked Max where he had gone, Max replied, "Let him go to hell. Just drive." Henry ran back to the theater. Julia was on stage performing when Henry, still limping, quickly climbed up and declared, "I can't stay away from you. I truly love you, and I can't live without you." Coincidentally, the same kind of scene was happening in the play, so the audience thought this was part of the act. They waited eagerly for Julia's answer. The director even dimmed the light slightly and prompted Julia to say, "Yes." Now convinced that Henry truly loved her, Julia stayed silent, but her expression said it all. It was clear to everyone. And so, the hero finally got the heroine. They would take the money, and their story would move forward. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.